So question number 1, Susan needs to scan a system for vulnerabilities, and she wants to use an open source tool to test the system remotely. Which of the following tools will meet her requirements and allow vulnerability scanning? So question number 2, Jim has been contracted to perform a penetration test of a bank's primary branch. In order to make the test as real as possible, he has not been given any information about the bank other than its name and address. What type of penetration test has Jim agreed to perform? What type of testing is used to ensure that separately developed software modules properly exchange data? Question number 4, which of the following is not a potential problem with active wireless scanning? Question number 5, Saria wants to log and review traffic information between parts of her network. What type of network logging should she enable on her routers to allow her to perform this analysis? Hello everyone, and welcome to a new 591 Labs video. Today we are going to continue with our CISSP exam preparation. So as you know, 591 Labs is one of the top IT training and certification companies in China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Singapore. And the mission is to provide the students with the most valuable and up-to-date information needed to help them conquer the vendor-specific cybersecurity exam and the ISC squared certifications as well. So in this video, we're going to look at Domain 6, addressing security assessment and testing, some of the tips and tricks that can help you also with the exam questions as well. So question number 1, Susan needs to scan a system for vulnerabilities, and she wants to use an open source tool to test the system remotely. Which of the following tools will meet her requirements and allow vulnerability scanning? Is it Nmap, or OpenVAS, or MBSA, or Nessus? Again, I'm going to give a short pause. You can pause the video if you want. You can have your own answer, and then you can resume the video so that you can check the correct answer I'm going to refer to right here. So the answer for this one is actually OpenVAS. So OpenVAS is an open source vulnerability scanning tool that will provide Susan with report of vulnerabilities that it can identify from a remote or network-based scan. Nmap is an open source port scanner. Both the Microsoft Baseline Security Analyzer, the MBSA, and the Nessus, these are closed source tools. They are proprietary. They are provided by vendors. They are not open source, although actually Nessus was originally open source, but nowadays you need to pay a fee for using Nessus. So question number 2, Jim has been contracted to perform a penetration test of a bank's primary branch. In order to make the test as real as possible, he has not been given any information about the bank other than its name and address. What type of penetration test has Jim agreed to perform? Is it a crystal box penetration test? Is it a gray box penetration test? Is it a black box penetration test? Or is it a white box penetration test? Pause the video, think about the answer, and then you can resume. So there is no such thing as crystal box penetration test. Gray box is when we give the penetration tester some information about our systems. This is used to imitate a potential customer or a vendor who has partial access and partial information to our systems, and what can they do with it if some of them have been proved to be hackers. What can they do with this kind of partial access and information? The black box is the one that is referred to in this example right here. We don't give anything, and we are hopefully looking forward that our security controls in place are going to stop any possible attacks from happening. So this is what's happening right here. The white box penetration test is trying to imitate if we have an insider threat. If one of our own who has all the information he needs and all the access has decided to go rogue, what can they do with this access and information? And this is the white box penetration test. So the one that was referred to in the example here is actually C, black box penetration test. What type of testing is used to ensure that separately developed software modules properly exchange data? Is it fuzzing? Is it dynamic testing? Is it interface testing? Or is it API checksum? So, fuzzing is when we try to test our softwares by putting in some random actions, random characters, unexpected, and see how the application is going to perform, how it's going to react to that. Dynamic testing is when we test the application in runtime environment. That's the key word here. Interface testing is used to ensure that software modules properly meet interface specification, thus will properly exchange data, specifically with databases, for example. So in this case, actually the answer is C. And actually API checksum are not a testing technique. Question number 4, which of the following is not a potential problem with active wireless scanning? A, accidentally scanning apparent rogue devices that actually belong to guests. B, causing alarms on the organization's wireless IPS. C, scanning devices that belong to nearby organizations. And D, misidentifying rogue devices. So actually the answer for this one is B, causing alarm on the wireless intrusion prevention system. Of course, this would actually is not a potential problem with active wireless scanning. Because not only should active scanning be expected to cause wireless IPS alarms, but actually they may actually be desired if the test is done to test responses. So actually B is the right answer in here. Question number 5, Saria wants to log and review traffic information between parts of her network. What type of network logging should she enable on her routers to allow her to perform this analysis? Is it audit logging? Is it flow logging? Is it trace logging? Or is it route logging? Pause the video, think about the correct answer, and then resume again. So, actually the answer for this one is B. Flows, often called network flows, are captured to provide insight into network traffic for security troubleshooting and performance management. Audit logging provides information about events on the routers. Route logging is not a common network logging function, and trace logs are used in troubleshooting specific software packages as they perform their functions. So the answer for this one is B. Question number 6. Jim has been contracted to conduct a gray box penetration test. and his clients have provided him with the following information about their network so that he can scan them: data center, IP addresses, sales, wireless, billing. What problem will Jim encounter if he is contracted to conduct a scan from offsite? A. The IP ranges are too large to scan efficiently. The IP addresses provided cannot be scanned. The IP ranges overlap and will cause scanning issue. Or the IP addresses provided are RFC 1918 addresses. So, of course, as you can see, all these addresses right there are private addresses. They are not public. So we cannot reach actually these addresses from the internet. So the problem with scanning off-site means from outside of the office, means from the internet. So actually we cannot reach them because they are RFC 1918, which means that they are private addresses. They are not public, so the public addresses will not be able to reach them. Question number 7. During a port scan using Nmap, Joseph discovers that the system shows 2 ports open that cause him immediate worry: 21 and 23. What services are likely running on those ports? Is it SSH and FTP, FTP and Telnet, SMTP and Telnet, or POP3 and SMTP? So actually the answer for this one is B. 21 is associated with FTP and 23 is associated with Telnet. Problem with port 21 is that it exchanges data in plain text. So if you are exchanging a file over the network over port 21, it means that it's in plain text. So everyone who's having an access to the connection, he can check or he can take a copy of anything that you're sending over the port 21. And Telnet as well, and also Telnet allows you to control a specific machine remotely. So of course these ports they provide constant worry or immediate worry, of course, if they have been left open. Question number 8. CISSP team is working to persuade their management that their network has extensive vulnerabilities that attackers could exploit. If she wants to conduct realistic attacks as part of a penetration test, what type of penetration test should she conduct? Is it a crystal box, gray box, white box, or black box? So, as we said, Saria is working to check the vulnerabilities that attackers could exploit. So, attackers means that they are outside. Since they are outside, they shouldn't have any access or information. Although they have vulnerabilities, she wants to make sure if these vulnerabilities are exploitable from the outside or not. So the best way to test something like that, of course, is to conduct, as we said, a black box penetration test. This is the most realistic one that imitates outside attackers and what they can do within your system's vulnerability. Question number 9. What method is commonly used to assess how well software testing covered the potential uses of an application? A test coverage analysis, a source code review, a fuzz testing analysis, or a code review report. So how well software testing covered the potential uses? This is actually associated with coverage analysis. It's often used to provide insight into how well testing covered the set of use cases that an application is being tested for. So the answer for this one is actually A. Question number 10, what type of monitoring uses simulated traffic to a website to monitor performance? Is it log analysis? Is it synthetic monitoring, or passive monitoring, or simulated transaction analysis? So synthetic monitoring is the correct answer. Synthetic monitoring is using emulated or recorded transactions to monitor for performance or changes in response time, functionality, and other performance monitors as well. Passive monitoring using a span port or other method to copy traffic and monitor it in real time. Log analysis is typically performed against actual log data, and simulated transaction analysis is not actually an industry term. Next question, which of the following vulnerabilities is unlikely to be found by a web vulnerability scanner? Is it path disclosure, local file inclusions, race condition, or buffer overflow? So path disclosure, local file inclusion, and buffer overflow are all vulnerabilities that may be found by a web vulnerability scanner, but race condition that take advantage of timing issues tend to be found either by code analysis or using automated tools that specifically test for race condition as part of the software testing. So everything can be actually found by a web vulnerability scanner except for race condition. This one will require a specified tool in order to check for that. Question number 12, Jim uses a tool that scans a system for available services and then connects to them to collect banner information to determine what version of the service is running. It then provides a report detailing what it gathers, basing results on server fingerprinting, banner information, and similar details it gathers combined with CVE information, common vulnerability and exposure. What type of tool is Jim using? Is it a port scanner? Is it a service validator? Is it a vulnerability scanner or a patch management tool? So the answer for this one is C, as you have guessed. Vulnerability scanners that do not have administrative rights to access a machine or that are not using an agent scan remote machine to gather information including fingerprints from responses to query and connections, banner information from services, and related data. Common vulnerability and exposure information is common also. Vulnerability and exposure information is associated with vulnerability scanners. So the answer for this one is C. What term describes software testing that is intended to uncover new bugs introduced by patches or configuration changes? non-regression testing, evolution testing, smoke testing, or regression testing. So the answer for this one is actually the regression testing. It's a type of functional or unit test. Make sure that the changes that you have introduced will not cause new issues to the system. Let's say, for example, you have a software. Software is working fine. And then you have made an update to this software. After the update, you have to do some kind of regression testing. What is the regression testing? Making sure that all the functionalities associated with this software have not been changed or affected by the new update that we have applied. And this is the regression test. All right, thank you so much for joining today's video. We hope that it was informative and the material was helpful. Remember to practice, remember to study. And it's not just about having the right answer, it's about learning from the mistakes you do and gaining the methodology and the way of thinking associated with ISC squared. This is the best way that will prepare you for your exam. Please don't hesitate to contact us if you have any questions or concerns. We appreciate your participation and look forward to seeing you in future classes, and have a great day.